Many of you who have been following me know that I push for Black women, especially dark-skinned Black women, to use themselves as beauty muses, which essentially means enhancing your beauty whilst embracing your God-given features. And one of the ways in which you can do this is by using tools like social media to put yourself and your phenotype specifically on a pedestal. And I think the best way in which you can optimize and reap the benefits that social media has to offer is to make sure it's a reflection of you, whether it represents your current present or your ideal future. It should still feel like you're in your own world and you're prioritizing yourself in some sort of way. So personally, Pinterest, Instagram, and lately TikTok have been the apps I've used to create my social media pedestal, where I follow and interact with content and content creators that relate to my beauty, career, and life aspirations in general. So here are a few of the content creators that I follow on social media across the platforms that I've mentioned, and I've decided to categorize them in two groups. So the groups being, in this particular video, fashion, hair, makeup, and skincare. So let's start off with fashion. One of my favorite fashion content creators is Melissa's Wardrobe. She is from the UK and I began following her from the beginning of COVID. And her outfits are always on point. So she does like interior design. She's also works as a stylist as well. Over the years, she has become a prominent influencer in the beauty space, to the point that now she has her own hashtag called Mel Made Me Do It that people use, that she shared when they've bought something based off Melissa's influence. And I found that her reviews on various products, because she does do a lot of reviews on her Instagram stories particularly, have been quite helpful. And I myself have bought a few things after being influenced by her, like the La Roche-Posay sunscreen and also the Aveeno body oil, which both products have been so good for me. The dark-skinned chick is also another fashion content creator that I've come across recently, and I love how she isn't afraid of incorporating colors into her outfits. And the reason why I say this in particular is because what I've realized, especially in real life, people in general tend to gravitate towards the more neutral side of the color spectrum. And I am more of like a person who likes to wear color, and especially because it looks amazing on my skin tone. In particular with this fashion content creator with the dark skin chick, she has her own fashion brand called, in particular, Nate Official. With this particular brand, they've recently released a dress, and this is how it looks like. And it looks so gorgeous. Her and I have similar body types, so I use her as a reference as well when styling myself. Chanel Natalie is a content creator as well, specifically, I guess, fashion, but she also does like lifestyle in general, whose outfits I draw inspiration from quite often. I especially love her monochromatic looks in particular, and I love how she plays in between street style and the more feminine girly looks. Coco Styling is a Brazilian dark-skinned Black woman who I refer to when I need to better understand my body proportions and color analysis on my dark skin tone. And I refer to her especially because a lot of the style advice and a lot of the style concepts that have been developed tend to center white people and white women, because a lot of these concepts were made up by white people. But I like how Coco Styling uses these concepts and applies them to how it would relate to us as dark-skinned Black women, which is very useful. And having this knowledge has helped me a lot when styling myself and coming up with the most flattering outfits for my body type and also my skin tone. Now onto the hair category. So in terms of hair, I'm sure many of you who have been in these YouTube streets know of the American YouTuber Ivy, who is like one of the OGs hair content creators, especially amongst black women. And I remember watching her hair videos years ago when I first was learning how to do my hair as a natural. And I specifically remember when she came up with the flip over sewing method. And I actually haven't tried it yet, but I really want to try it with either some kinky straight bundles or yaki straight bundles. I'm still undecided. If you haven't checked her out, please do check her out because she is so versatile in the way that she does hair. She shows tutorials on how to do hairstyles using crochet, weave, and all sorts. And as someone who wears kinky straight clip-in hair extensions from time to time, I quite like Ayana Hyman's clip-in extension hairstyles because they are easier to replicate and they're so cute as well. I found her on TikTok, but she's also on Instagram as well. Also, her lip combos always look so good. And there's this one in particular that is like a cherry red lip. I've pretty much bought everything I need to recreate this lip. All I need is the Juvia's Place lip liner called Scorpio. Breakfast at Tiffany's has great natural protective hairstyles. I think those of you who are on Instagram and follow those dark skinned women pages or black women pages, you've probably seen her face in one of those pages because of course she is absolutely gorgeous. And there was a particular tutorial she made on how she installed her crochet faux locks. And she mentioned that when she adds the lock onto her hair near her hairline, she makes sure not to make it tight and instead she makes it loose around the hairline. And I found this super helpful when doing my crochet faux locks because not only am I reducing the stress on my hairline from the protective hairstyle, so I do prefer to make the styles a lot more looser on the front. And it works, especially with faux locks, because it actually looks more natural. Eugenia Kelsey was one of the first natural hair content creators that I stumbled upon when I first became a natural. Her hair tips on how to grow long and healthy 4C hair has helped me so much over the years. And she is one of my hair length goals, honestly. So make sure you check her out. Now onto the makeup category. I follow Jasmine, who is on TikTok. I love how she experiments with different looks and we're quite similar in skin tone complexion. So when a new product comes out, I do tend to go over to her page to see how it looks on her because that is how I can actually justify me blind buying a product. Nima Tang is also another fellow dark skinned woman who has helped me a lot with makeup, especially when wearing bright lipstick colors and foundation shade related makeup too. Those of you who are in the UK, especially the dark skinned girlies, know about Mela Child and how she popularized the bright under eye concealer look. And she got quite a lot of flack for it at the beginning. But a few years down the line, the same people who were laughing at her were the ones who were copying the same look. And I've even done even brighter under eye looks in some instances, which I find hilarious. So she has definitely influenced the whole UK makeup game, especially for dark skinned women in general, but also for me especially. She's influenced how I do my foundation based routine. And as you can see, her makeup looks tend to be a lot more matte, which is what I strive for since my skin tone is of an oily and combination skin type. And when it comes to skincare, Dr. Alexis Stevens is one of the few people I listen to when it comes to skincare, especially when it pertains to dark skinned people. Dr. Iwome is also another doctor that I follow. She was formerly known as the Skin Doctor. Both have great skin, as you can see, and are really good at explaining the science behind how our skin interacts with different products. So that's a snippet of what my social media pedestal looks like when it pertains to hair and beauty and skincare and makeup. And as you can see, I am prioritizing women who look like me or at least share my phenotype or share certain aspects or certain facial features of my phenotype, and I'm still able to gain from their useful content. I am moving towards consuming content that is actually valuable for me. So there's really no use for me to follow someone whose content doesn't help me in the slightest, even if we happen to share phenotypes. And this has worked wonders for me so far because I'm no longer doom scrolling past content that is of no use to me. So what does your social media pedestal look like, especially pertaining to these categories that I've mentioned? Share in the comment section the content creators who you follow so others can see and begin to build their own social media pedestal if they haven't already done so. And also, sharing their names will also allow us to support these content creators too. I'm looking forward to hear from you all, and I'll see you in part 2, where I'll discuss the non-beauty related categories for my social media pedestal.